kababaihan, ginugurita pa rin natin ang 18-day campaign to end violence against women mula November 25 hanggang December 12. At noong Lunes nga ay nasimulan nating pag-usapan ang karahasan laban sa mga kababaihan sa konteksto ng Bangsamoro. At ngayong umaga ay patuloy nating pag-uusapan ang mga kababaihan sa Bangsamoro, partikular na ang kanilang makabuluhan na partisipasyon sa komunidad at economic empowerment. At nitong October 2021 lamang, nag-publish ang Oxfam Philippines ng pag-aaral na Women Journeying Towards Peace, Ensuring Meaningful Participation in Economic Empowerment of the Bangsamoro Islamic Women Auxiliary Brigade o BWAB, and Bangsamoro Women na base sa naratibo ng mga opisyal at miyembro ng BWAB at ilang sibilyang kababaihang Moro. At para sa kaalaman ng lahat ng tagapakinig natin, ang BWAB ay ang supplementary force ng Moro Islamic Liberation Front o MILF na puros kababaihan ang mga miyembro. At ang kanilang pangunahing tungkulin ay tiyakin ang kaligtasan ng mga MILF combatants sa pamamagitan ng pagtugon sa kanilang medical at basic needs at pati na ring manilbihan bilang isang reserve force. At ilan sa mga main points nitong nabanggit kong pag-aaral ay nakitang ginagampanan pa rin ng mga kababaihang respondents ang care work responsibilities nila sa bahay, dala na rin ng traditional gender expectations. Ito ay sa kabila pa ng paghahanap buhay nila at paninilbihan sa BWAB bilang mga miyembro. At sabi din ng iilang respondents, bukod sa skills training, wala masyadong ibang oportunidad para sa mga miyembro ng BWAB at karamihan sa kanila ay walang access sa capital at mga resources kagaya ng equipment. Madami kasi dito sa mga respondents ay sinanay sa gawaing agri-farming. Kaya nararamdaman din nila yung compounding effects ng climate change at karahasan sa lugar. Kaya napipilitan silang iwan ng mga farm at negosyo nila. May mga livelihood training din naman na isinasagawa sa kanila na hindi angkop sa kanilang nakasanayan na agri-farming. At halimbawa, na-train silang gumawa ng tinapay at binigyan sila ng electric ovens kahit wala naman silang kuryente sa lugar. So itong ganitong klase ng mga hindi angkop sa kanilang konteksto ng mga trainings ay nangyayari. At isa pa, meron din nakitang sense of mistrust patungo sa gobyerno among dito sa mga miyembro ng BWAB na nakakapaghinder din ng engagement nila sa posibleng economic development at women's empowerment programs kasama ng gobyerno. At para ilan lamang yun sa mga main points, at para mas maliwanagan tayo tungkol sa pag-aaral na ito, ay meron tayong inimbitahan na Gender Justice Advisor ng Oxfam Philippines. Ito ay walang iba kundi si Ma'am Jeanette Dulawan. At welcome po sa aming show, Ma'am Jeanette. Good morning.
Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Maganda po sa ating mga tagapakinig.
Magandang umaga, ma'am. Kamusta po kayo ngayong umaga?
Maayos naman. Nasa Ifugao kasi ako ngayon, so medyo malamig dito sa amin.
Nakakaingit naman po kayo, ma'am. Ma'am Jeanette, nabanggit ko po kanina nabanggit ko po kanina yung iilang main points nitong nagawa ninyo ang pag-aaral. Pero ano po ba yung pinaka-objective ng pag-aaral na ito?
Sige, salamat, So, nasabi mo na din ano yung title ng pag-aaral at ang layunin talaga ng pag-aaral na ito o yung research na ito ay para malaman at maintindihan natin, even government, of course, especially BARM, government officials at yung mga nasa BARM na maintindihan ano-ano yung mga kadahilanan na nakaka-impluwensya sa kapasidad ng mga membro ng Bangsamoro Islamic Women Auxiliary Brigade or yung BWAB at ang mga civilian na Bangsamoro women para maigiit o ma-assert nila ano ang karapatan nilang pang-ekonomiya at ang kakayahan nilang maging leaders or mamuno sa komunidad at sa buong lipunan ng BARM. Specifically also, itong pag-aaral na to, nag-provide ng space or espasyo para yung mga BWAB members masabi nila or ma-articulate nila yung needs and aspirations or mithiin para sa kanilang sarili, para sa kapwa nila babae sa BARM community, and of course yung within BARM as equal partners in peace building and development. While also tinitignan ano yung mga issues and challenges, at the same time interest of the Bangsamoro women. At dito din tinignan mo na-mention mo na din yung iba't ibang programs, no, for women's economic empowerment ng BIWAP, pero tinignan ang objective dito is makita, no, ma-map out yung mga ano yung previous, ano yung mga current and upcoming initiatives ng different actors or stakeholders sa BARM na nakagiya sa economic empowerment, no, ng BIWAP members and of course other women in the Bangsamoro communities, na nakafocus ano yung lessons learned, yung mga nasabi mo nga, yung mga lessons learned kanina, at ano yung mga possible areas of collaboration with, of course, national agencies and other stakeholders to reach also or be able to reach these aspirations and goals.
Yes,
so, yan po.
Nasabi niyo po, ma'am, no, na itong pag-aaral na ito nakapagbigay ng espasyo sa mga BIWAP members na ma-articulate yung concerns nila. Sa anong espeto po ng Bangsamoro transition nakakatulong ang mga findings at analysis nitong nagawang pag-aaral?
Oo, base sa pag-aaral kasi tinignan na paano ba yung Bangsamoro, yung BIWAP reintegrate meaningfully into society, which is part of the Bangsamoro transition, right? And then tinignan, after years of living in conflict, paano ba yung mga pangangailangan ng civilian Bangsamoro, paano siya na-address through the Bangsamoro transition as well? And ano ba yung socio-economic frameworks, policies, or even programs, no, na nakaka-address ano yung mga pangangailangan, including yung intersecting needs ng mga kababaihan. And then, of course, at the same time, how can they also contribute in the Bangsamoro transition, which is supposed to be inclusive and empowering. Okay, so tinignan ng aspetong ito, no, by examining or tinitignan yung narratives, no, of officers and the rank and file members of the BIWAP and selected civilian Bangsamoro women. So dito tinignan na yung challenges women continue to face, na they try to balance, no, yung multiple roles and ano yung gender expectations nila din as former combatants, as nanay, as income earners, no. And dito rin tinignan, no, yung ano yung stories nila na highlight yung compounding effects of climate change, yung conflict, and the struggles also they face from the lack of financial support and economic opportunities, as well as the difficulty of accessing programs when they are available because of tedious bureaucratic processes. So itong mga pag-aaral, no, dito din nakikita ano ba yung mga dapat recommendations or magandang suggestions for BARM program planners, program designers, at the same time program implementers and policy makers in relation to Bangsamoro women and in relation to these challenges and issues faced by BIWAP and civilian women, Bangsamoro women.
Right. Ano naman po, ma'am, yung naging response nitong Bangsamoro government sa nagawang pag-aaral? Nagkaroon po ba ng pushback?
So far wala naman kasi before, di ba, after so far wala pa kami na-receive, but before the launching of the study, no, and we really verified it also with the BIWAP leaders, no, with IMI leaders, pinison din namin sa isang validation discussion. At the same time, we also sent copies to at least 4 MPs, no, at wala namang pushback. In fact, MP Caron was very supportive also of the recommendations based from the study, na yun nga tinignan dito at sino ba yung actors dapat dito, ano ba ang dapat gagawin ng mga actors in relation to the Bangsamoro transition, which aims nga to be inclusive and empowering for women essentially.
Right. Thank you po, ma'am. Si Dean po ito ng International Alert. Ma'am, kanina po nabanggit nyo na ang study po ay tungkol sa mga miyembro ng BIWAP o yung mga kababaihang dating combatants, no, at saka yung mga civilian naman na Bangsamoro women. Ang tanong ko po, paano nyo po napili ang mga kung sino yung mga kakausapin ninyo para sa pag-aaral nyo?
Okay, siguro before yung paano napili is that maganda ding tignan paano ba dinesign no, yung studies or how the data was gathered and including also how the respondents were chosen. So siguro selected, siguro yung magandang tignan, ang process kasi is yung we use the appreciative inquiry framework. No? Dito tinignan ano ba yung issues, no, challenges or concerns ng participants or by the respondents, specifically the BWAB women and Bangsamoro, civilian Bangsamoro women. Tinignan nila yung mga specific questions like in terms of their experiences, in terms of their aspirations. No? And then dito, through this process, it allowed the participants actually to identify ano ba yung core values and motivating factors na in their involvement with the Bangsamoro Islamic Armed Forces and their experiences of conflict and their struggles in the region's transition into peace and development. And then the respondents were carefully chosen to guarantee representation, no, in terms of age, years of service and role in the BWAP, and among others. So, yan po, apart from FGBs, no, consultations also with various stakeholders, including yung mga peace project participants ng Oxfam and BWAB were conducted also to inform the overall research design and objectives.
So, base po ma'am dun sa ginawa niyong pag-aaral, ano po yung mga findings ninyo at paano nyo i-describe ang kalagayan ng mga BWAB at Bangsamoro women?
Sige, siguro magpo-focus ako doon sa yung engagement, since yung title niya is yung economic integration. So, how, in terms of their experience, so sa engagement nila sa livelihood and other income-generating activities, at the same time, yung challenges nila in terms of constraints to economic participation. So, unahin ko lang yung, in terms of their engagement sa livelihood and income-generating activities, yung study showed that 70 to 80% of the women who joined BWAB were engaged in combat sultan, while the remaining 20 to 30% were engaged in other roles. Some worked as messengers, they prepared food, they performed intelligence work, among others. And dito, nakita din yung profile, na most members were married to partners who were also in the military, and some were widows as well. And dito, doon sa members, officers, and rank and file alike, they were engaged in economic activities before they even joined BWAB. And then, kahit nag-join sila sa BWAB, nag-continue pa rin silang mag-engage sa income-generating activities to support their families, no? Kasi dito ang sinasabi nila to augment also their income. So, to augment also their income kasi nga they have to support their family. At the same time, may mga pangangailangan din na kailangan nilang fulfill, especially for the education of their children. At the same time, food. Their food also. So, yun yung mga pangangailangan. At the same time, siguro magandang tignan din na yung mga merong jobs, no, or formal employment, for example, sa government or with CSOs while nasa BWAB sila, they also use their additional income to support maintenance of their farms. No? Yung ang paniniwala nila is that ito yung responsibility nila na that should be shared equally with their partners on and off duty. And in terms naman of the non-BWAB women, they were also engaged in economic activities, primarily, one, to support again their family. So,
hello, ma'am?
Hello?
Parang naputol si Ma'am Jeanette, no? Pero nakita natin, no, na talagang maraming roles ang...
Hello?
Ginagawa nila sa bahay. Hello?
Yes po.
Ayun. Sorry ma'am, naputol po kayo konti dahil sa signal, no? Pero ulitin ko lang po yung mga na-pick up ko po sa mga sinabi nyo kanina na parang yung mga kababaihan, marami talaga silang roles na ginagampanan. Yung iba ay engaged sa mga income activities at yung iba merong farming, tapos kasama pa dyan minsan yung mga household chores at yung kanilang ginagampanan as officers ng BWAB. So, given po itong mga rules na ito, ano pong epekto nun sa mga kababaihan na nakausap ninyo po? At in terms po sa mga ina-expect sa kanila bilang babae, ano po ang pagtingin naman nila doon?
Okay, sige. Siguro yun nga, yun, tama ka no, na yung others were engaged doon sa formal employment or informal, no? Yung iba din, pero magandang signal din no, na yung BWAB women na they juggled actually 2 to 3 income generating activities at the same time. So dito, because of these expectations and the constraints to economic participation, maganda sigurong balikan. Ano nga ba itong naging constraints into economic participation? So, ang isa is yung personal limitations or constraints kasi for BWAB members, tinitignan nila yung time management or yung difficulty actually in balancing formal duties and unpaid care responsibilities. So, yung sinasabi mo na household chores, no? Kasi din sila, other than doing household chores, gumagawa pa sila ng income-generating activities, and then other is yung unpaid care. So, including yung care for children, care for household members, household management, and then, ang isa pang nakita nila nga is yung child care, which is, has also been difficult for them. For some, it forces them to leave also their children to the care of other family members when they and their parents are both partners, are both called to duty. Similarly, no, yung BWAB officers noted the lack of time to engage in activities other than their formal duties. Yung isa din is yung time poverty, no? Wherein they are unable to participate in various skills building programs because of their responsibilities as officers and as mothers, as household members. Ayan po. So, nag-limit actually ng engagement nila sa economic activities that could have augmented, no, their incomes. And for civilians naman, ang sinasabi is yung multiple burdens related naman to reproductive roles and expectations. Ito yung sinasabi na their inability, no, to manage their time more effectively because of their expectations na dapat andun sila sa bahay, household management, inaayos or tinitignan yung kapakanan ng pamilya at the same time, nag-aalaga ng mga bata. So, ito yung mga iba't ibang constraints din, no? And for some, also, they lack also control over their income because they're expected, ito pa, expectations din na to direct all their earnings towards supporting family or surrender them entirely. This is especially true for those who are paid employees.
Ma'am, tanong po bakit
sige po.
Bakit po walang control yung bakit ina-expect yung mga kababaihan na ibigay yung income nila lahat sa pamilya? Hindi po ba pwedeng may part na para lang sa kanila? Ganun, yun po ba ang expectation para sa isang kababaihan?
Tama talaga, tama ka doon, no, na dapat kung ano din yung income mo or kung ano yung resources that you have, you also have to have control. So ito yung sinasabing, ito yung mga kasama sa indicators ng being empowered. Yung kung bakit hindi yan masyadong na explore sa study, but ito nga yung sinasabi nila na dahil nga sila ay income earners at sila ay at very limited din yung income sa isang household, ang expectation ay sa kanila ay other than to bring in income, no, to the household, dapat yung income nila ay binibigay parang dapat only to support the family. So this is based on the shading of those who were part of the research.
Okay po. Thank you, ma'am.
Maraming salamat, Ma'am Janet. No? At nabanggit po ninyo yung mga saring pangangailangan nitong mga respondents dito sa inyong pag-aaral. Maitanong ko lang po, Miss Janet, ako nga po pala si Rod, isa po sa mga host dito sa program na ito. Kamusta naman po yung suporta and opportunities para sa kanilang economic empowerment, particular dito sa mga respondents natin, mga kababaihan?
Okay.
And also for a following question, Ma'am Janet, no, Yung mga suporta na po ba yun ay nagmamatch sa kanilang aspirations at support na
Hello?
Yes, Miss.
Hello?
Parang nawala si Ma'am Janet, no? Alam mo, I'm very interested to know about this, no? Because as we keep on telling, no, in our past episodes, it's very important on how we align the needs and interventions that we deliver to vulnerable communities, because I think that's a very basic essential, no? And ngayon, titignan natin on how we can assess the alignment, no, nung sinabi nating needs and interventions na binibigay, no, yung ating mga authority. So, I think Ma'am Janet is already back. Ulitin ko lang po yung tanong, Ma'am Janet, no? Dahil napag-usapan natin yung mga needs, kamusta naman po yung mga suporta and opportunities na binibigay sa kanila para sa kanilang economic empowerment? And does this match yung kanilang aspirations and support na ini-envision nila?
Okay, sige. Thank you, Rod, no? So, siguro mas magandang tignan balikan muna in terms of the support and opportunity. So, makikita natin based on sa study, participants shared, no, their experiences. Sinabi nila yung kwento nila na prior to the 2012 peace agreement, support from the government was difficult actually to access, if at all available, especially for BWAB members. Ang sinasabi ng mga nasa rank and file, they also shared that they were barely able to eke out, no, a meager capital for a small business, relying mostly on their skills, their savings from paid employment, or money from inherited family business. Yung iba naman, there were some who said they were lucky to be living near the MILF camp, making it easy for them to attend to small businesses outside their official military duty. So, based on the support, based on their sharings and the support and opportunities that they were able to have access to, no, meron yung sinasabi nilang conditional cash transfer or the 4-piece program na through that DSWD. So, for some also, they were able to receive a senior citizen's money allowance. Ang sinasabi nila, while this was the case, no, they also shared about the slow, yung mabagal na processing of accessing these benefits, indicating that some of them, despite providing all requirements, sabi nila, hindi pa nila nare-receive yung benefits. Other than yung na-mention, yung sa Department of Labor and Employment, ang sinasabi naman, so meron din silang na-receive, pero hindi very specific yun. Ang sinasabi naman ng civilian women, no, they also benefited from various microfinancing institutions. And then they were also able to access yung Sustainable Livelihood Program. Tapos yung non-traditional skills such as carpentry and masonry from the Technical Education Skills Development Authority. Meron din cash grants and other support for former combatants. Ang sinasabi ng former combatants, they are really entitled to receive financial support as part of the decommissioning process. Ang sinabi nila, while some of the decommission have already received the initial grant, others are still waiting to receive their benefits. No, in addition to this, meron pang socio-economic interventions like skills training programs, or trained in dressmaking while women were trained in dressmaking while men were trained in carpentry. And then, ang sinabi din is yung meron pa daw yung normalization and conference building processes in Mindanao na sinasabi ng government. And then, meron din, no, yung sinasabi nila na yung MILF and BARN initiatives also were focused, no, towards economic empowerment. Ang sinasabi nila is yung, this is through the Social Welfare Committee, no, and the Ministry of Social Science and Technology to ensure na may training, scholarship provisions sa mga women. And then meron din mga CSO-led initiatives, no. Mostly, these are various programs implemented by civil societies, no, in BARN, including yung Community and Family Services, yung Almeja Dila Women's Association, yung World Food Program, among others. Pero yung question mo din, no, in terms of does this match or do this match their aspirations? Siguro mas magandang tignan muna, ano ba yung naging challenges? Kasi I think Dean or one of your colleagues also mentioned about na kahit ito yung sinabi nila, may mga issues in terms of hindi nagmamatch actually yung mga nare-receive nilang interventions or programs. So ang mga challenges pa other than this is yung lack of necessary infrastructure where especially for those outside of major towns and municipalities. So, walang reliable communication sites, walang kulang yung roads, no, that would make it easier and cheaper for women in remote areas to access raw materials or market their goods. Ito yung isa sa mga challenges na na-identify. And then yung lack of context, ito yung sinasabi kanina, yung lack of context, appropriate tools and equipment na dapat nag-allow sana ng women, no, para makabenefit sila sa skills training programs to practice their trade. Kaso lang, yung lack of farming equipment or gas-powered ovens have made it close to impossible for women to take advantage of their newly learned skills. Kasi nga, electronic yung pero walang kuryente kung saan sila nag-ooperate or nagpa-practice ng trade. At the same time, yung opportunities nila are scarce to practice also yung non-traditional trades because this is primarily because fields as carpentry, electronics are considered as male domain. And women who engage in this are looked down upon in their community. So see, ito din yung traditional expectations na women, dapat lang ang traditional jobs na nag-bake, nagbebenta, pero yung mga nag-engage din sana sa electronics or carpentry, na kung saan sila na-train, they are looked down upon in their community. So these are based actually on the experiences of DIWAB women and civilian, no? And then yung isa pa is yung difficulty in accessing skills training programs and other benefits. So yan. And then yung isa pang tinignan talaga nilang challenge is yung slow process of accessing support from government agencies. So yan po yung mga challenges na somehow, yung aspirations nila, sa kanila, feeling nila, hindi pa na-meet because of these challenges.
Yes, thank you so much, Mano. And those are very comprehensive points coming from you. Gusto ko lang din pong itanong, ma'am, having itong opportunity mismatch na nabanggit ninyo, so tingin niyo po ba sa kanilang mga intersecting needs at para sa inyong personal opinion and reflect the results of this study, paano po ba dapat tinitignan ang iba't ibang pangangailangan ng mga kababaihan given the multiple layers of
Hello, Rod?
Rod, parang naputol ka, no? Pero itutuloy ko lang yung tanong mo. Parang ang tinatanong po niya, ma'am, ay given yung mga nabanggit niyo po, paano po ba dapat tingnan yung mga pangangailangan ng kababaihan?
Okay, so tama, no? Magandang tanong yan kasi minsan, no, parang pag sinasabing kababaihan, ano ba yung pangangailangan ng kababaihan? Isa lang ang tingin sa kanila, sila ay pare-parehong babae. Hindi tinitignan ano ba yung intersecting needs or pagkakaiba ng mga kababaihan kasi ang mga kababaihan, although pare-pareho silang babae, magkakaiba yung age nila, magkakaiba yung class nila, magkakaiba yung educational attainment nila, magkakaiba yung ethnicity nila. So, at magkakaiba yung geographic locations nila, no? And even they have differentiated disabilities as well. So, magandang pag inaaral, kahit babae, lalaki, or mga bata, dapat tinitignan itong mga pagkakaibang intersectionalities, no? So dito ang sinasabi niya, why do we use intersectionality as an analytical lens? Dito kasi nakakatulong, no, yung pag-examine how paano yung pagkakaibang social stratifiers na as I mentioned, yung race, yung class, yung education, yung ethnicity, yung geographic location, even religion, interact to create yung different experiences of privilege or vulnerability or marginalization of an individual. Ang maganda kasing tignan dito is that tignan ano yung simultaneous interactions, no, between these different aspects of social identity and how do these impact sa systems no, and processes of oppression and domination, typically also marginalization. Kaya tinitingnan dapat yung multifaceted explorations no, of how factors, how of privilege no, and penalty, they also alternate between context or occur simultaneously. Dapat tingnan natin no, na yung human and social characteristics such as age, gender, sex, ability, even ethnicity and sexuality, nag-interact siya to shape yung individual experience at a given point or time. Kaya maganda actually yung approach ng research na ito kasi in-analyze niya actually yung ano din yung power relations. How do these intersect with the other social stratifiers na nag-aapekto sa life no, ng mga BWAP members as women, as mothers, as income earners, as combatants, as former combatants, and as civilians of course. And then, initignan niya din yung differences sa needs nila, sa experiences nila, and in-explore nila how policies or services and programs can help address these differences. Dito nga, in this type of analysis, no, yung sinasabi ko, magandang ang entry point talaga is gender for analytical, as an entry point for our analysis. So dito sa research na ito, nakita natin yung intersecting needs no, ng mga BWAP and non-civilian Bangsamoro women, wherein, na-mention kasi kanina yung, yung intricate links between yung capacity of women, no, to participate in economic activities as well as their ability, no, to contribute sana to rebuilding a war-torn community. Ang sinasabi nga dito, because of this analysis, no, their stories and experiences tell us that there is so much left to be done if peace and development are truly to benefit Bangsamoro women and the community. So dito sa intersectional analysis, nakita natin how traditional gender norms and expectations continue to prevail within Bangsamoro, defining the parameters of what women can do, what women can access and achieve. And then ang nakita din dito is women continue to be burdened by reproductive and care responsibilities, while also they're expected to fulfill their duties as committed BWAP members and isa pa, as paid employees or business owners who work to support their family growing needs. So ang resulta nito, women have really difficulty also in sustaining their economic activities. Kaya ito nga yung constraint nila actually sa economic participation as they seek to balance multiple responsibilities. So ang sinasabi dito, no, habang pine-perform nila itong maraming roles and expectations sa kanila, walang very konti or very little yung regard nila for their efforts as meaningful contributions or contributors to building peace in their communities. So dito, yung gender norms and expectations defined also the kind of support that are available and accessible to women. No? So dito, dahil hindi na maganda yung analysis, yung support services, hindi na niya na-distinguish between the needs of women and men. And additionally, no, yung women's needs are understood to be unquestionably universal, homogeneous. Right. So yan po yung lumabas sa analysis natin.
Yes. Ma'am, Sini na po ito ulit. Bukod po sa nabanggit niyong intersectional analysis, no, bilang panghuling mensahe niyo na rin po, ano pa po yung inyong mga rekomendasyon para mapaunlad ang kalagayan ng BWAP, pati na rin yung mga non-BWAP na mga kababaihan sa ilalim ng BARM in terms of policy making, mga programa, reintegration at iba pa po?
Siguro in terms of policy making, yung ang isang pinaka dapat tignan dito is yung affirming, yung the importance of leadership roles of women and their equal participation sa aspeto ng peace process, even sa humanitarian response and post-conflict reconstruction. Ang isa pa dito is mag-invest sana sa Regional Action Plan on Women, Peace and Security para ma-ensure na yung women remain actively and meaningfully involved in all aspects of its implementation and monitoring. And then maganda siguro din is yung strengthen yung accountability mechanisms in BARM and local government, especially yung concerning women's economic empowerment programs to ensure na yung programs are comprehensive, strategic, and na-address talaga yung immediate and long-term needs and concerns ng mga kababaihan. Siguro yung for program planners, magandang i-facilitate mo yung dialogue and learning between gender advocates among CSOs and MILS women to discuss how women-specific practical and needs can be articulated in a more enhanced framework for women's empowerment na dapat ma-inform na yung design and implementation of programs and projects for BWOP at the same time yung reintegration program. And siguro, maganda din tignan, no, yung how do we engage in consultation yung former female combatants and civilian affected by conflict to identify yung skills they want to acquire rather than providing skills training that are irrelevant or that perpetuate gender stereotypes. And last siguro is magandang mag-invest sa strengthening women's influence and leadership as well as in initiatives that address women's issues and advance their rights as part of the long-term and sustainable peace efforts. And then is undertake yung in-depth study of women's motivations, diverse backgrounds and contexts as well as their intersecting needs.
Ayun.
So the cycle po yung long-term commitments. So yan po. And siguro last,
sige po.
Ensure yung decommissioning processes are guided by the rights-based and holistic approach that prioritizes women's needs and interests and includes psychosocial counseling, trauma healing, and economic management as part of the support packages.
Yes, maraming salamat Ma'am Jeanette, no. Ang dami niyo na pong nabahagi tungkol sa nagawang pag-aaral ng inyong organisasyon at I'm sure maraming natutunan ng ating mga tagapakinig ngayong umaga. So thank you very much again Ma'am Jeanette sa pagsasalita sa aming programa ngayong umaga. At ang ilan sa mga napulot ko na mga nasabi ni Ma'am Jeanette, yung mga livelihood trainings at iba pang socio-economic interventions ng gobyerno at pati na rin mga organisasyon na naninilbihan sa Bangsamoro ay dapat laging maging context specific at conflict sensitive. Nakita natin dito sa pag-aaral ng Oxfam Philippines na yung mga kababaihang respondents, halimbawa, merong particular na mga skill set kagaya ng agri-farming, pero may mga trainings na hindi nagmamatch sa skill set nila at kaya hindi naging epektibo sa pag-provide sa kanila ng livelihood, lalo-lalo na sa mga kababaihan. At nakita din natin dito sa pag-aaral yung ang daming papel na ginagampanan ng mga kababaihan sa Bangsamoro. And I'm sure in the rest of the country, no, halimbawa na engage sila sa income activities, farming, pero hindi nawawala yung traditional gender expectations, kagaya ng household chores. So, nagpo-push tayo for women empowerment at madami nang nag-hire study sa komunidad o di kaya naghahanap buhay, pero hindi pa rin nawawala itong mga traditional roles na kailangan mag-manage ng house, no? Yung sinasabing unpaid care work, kaya nakakadagdag pa ito sa mental load ng mga kababaihan. At kagaya ng sinabi ni Ma'am Jeanette na mga rekomendasyon ay dapat tinitignan ang pagkakaiba sa edad, socio-economic status, educational background, even religion ng mga kababaihan para makita yung mga vulnerabilities at pribilehiyo ng mga individual. At dapat paigtingin din ang leadership role ng mga kababaihan sa pag-contribute sa peace process, no? Mag-invest sa regional action plan ng mga kababaihan sa peace and security para meron silang meaningful participation dito. At maganda rin na nagkaroon ng initial planning, no, sa BWOB leaders at coordination sa ilang mga MPs bago isinagawa itong pag-aaral na nag-contribute din sa success nito at pagtanggap sa mga rekomendasyon ng pag-aaral na ito. At muli, maraming salamat sa ating panauhin at sana maraming natutunan ng ating mga tagapakinig. At ako po si Ka-Alerto Nina. Kita-kits ulit sa Biyernes, alas 8 ng umaga dito lamang sa Alerto Bang.